you doing? What are you currently up to after the release of your JB album?
I'm great. We've been preparing for some live performances. We've done a few live performances. We have a lot of plans for festivals, touring, and shows coming up. We're looking to put that into high gear and just be incredibly busy with that. We've also, we're creating new music as well too. So really, I think we just turned up highly. Doing a lot of interviews, pretty much immersed in Sonja activities all the time.
I guess. Actually, until the release of this debut album, it seemed like you were kind of playing in the shadows. Like you only played a very few shows. There wasn't any official release. And I think the process behind creating this album was quite long, right?
That's very true. It being like stylistically something a little bit different for us too. We didn't want to kind of go through a lot of those growing pains in the, heavy metal public eye. We wanted to sort of come out strong. So anytime we did play before, it was sort of just us testing out a song on the stage, not us really thinking we had something great to deliver to an audience yet. And it's just the standard that we want to deliver it all at is high. Like we want it to be good. So we spent our time to make sure that we were creating something fully realized when we had some output to make for it.
And do you think that the audience has responded to that? Like, has it been good? I mean, when you went out and played live and so on, finally?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We've only, since this interview, we've played 2 times since the album came out. So between the album coming out and this interview, we played twice, and the response has been very good. It's a good energy and a good thing going on. So basically, it's like it's a sort of a whole new phase for us to be now in this live mentality for a band that has really been this like writing and creating band, now to be this like manifestation of like doing it on stage.
Yeah, cool. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the songs somehow come to life in a different way when you play them live compared to the recording versions, or how you feel like playing these songs in the studio and playing them live?
There is a difference for sure. I mean, it's like we're a 3-piece live, so it's gonna have a bit more of a raw, like stripped down kind of energy, and there's just physical energy when we play too. So it's certainly more raw, and like some of the polished edges are gonna come across as more aggressive, I think too. And the songs themselves were pretty true too, though. We're doing them very true to how they've been. Although, I mean, like, we're a 3-piece band with 1 guitarist, but in the studio, there's times where I've done 2 tracks on guitar, or maybe a vocal harmony. So sometimes you're going to hit 1, not the 2. Or if we're able to create the feeling of both, we'll do that somehow. So it's the live presentation is its own thing compared to the recording.
Yeah.
Actually, this has been your first time singing, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. How did it feel, or how does it still feel, especially live?
That's the big thing. It's like I've played thousands of shows, probably. Playing guitar is easy. Singing is a whole new thing. It's a great, like, different type of energy. So it's like, as many shows as I've played, it's like a very new experience. So that's where a lot of the energy is put in the preparation phase, and that's where it's fresh to me, essentially, too. So, and anytime I've done vocals in the past for a band, like backup vocals or something, it's just been like extreme style backup vocals, which I can't do well. So with this, it's like, the guitar playing and the vocals, they have to be so locked in that it's like one thing. It's not two separate things. So it's really one act, the performance of it.
Yeah.
Cool. And are you enjoying it because it's new, or it's like a challenge, or?
I am in a certain way, but also it's like I'm just like hungry to make it as powerful as possible. So like it's a long, intense process, and like it's getting more intense, and I like that. I like the total focus to make it that way.
Yeah.
You said it feels fresh. Would you say this project, Sonja, feels fresh, like the concept, the idea, like as a whole?
Absolutely. I mean, very much we are very intentionally trying to stay away from anything that exists already in the way that we present it, in the way that we write it, and also without being some sort of, just too artistic or too, I use the word avant-garde or something like that. We want it to be something that hits like the pop angle in your head, but also is very true heavy metal in a certain way. So the realization to get it there, and now that we've not been a band with an album, that we have an album, that's a big shift mentally for us, where it's like we kind of know what we are. And of course we're going to build off that a little bit, but the uniqueness of it is very intense to us and very much what we're trying to do. We see no use in sort of just having either a metal band or a rock band or a goth band like any of these other bands. Like we're trying to create something that's very pure and distilled energy, but also its own thing.
Yeah, I think it shows like that blend of different things. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, perfectly.
Thank you. Yeah.
And actually, I think like the common thread between everything about the band, it's like everything seems to blossom from some sort of darkness, not just the sound, but the lyrics and the whole like aesthetic, like the whole imagery somehow. Where does this sort of darkness come from?
Well, I mean, being immersed in the music, dark music for sure, and just life experiences that, most of these songs are written around life experiences, because, you should write what you know about in some ways. But also, we're not trying to be, lyrically or anything. There's no attempt to be like shockingly dark or evil. This is just not like, this is just actual, and it's just how do we behold this and present this and show this in a way where it's authentic. I guess would be the way that I would say it. Yeah. So yeah, darkness is absolutely a theme that we want to maintain there. I just like dark music. We all do.
Yeah, that's why we're here. So
yeah. And also, I read that the lyrics in this album are all of them personal and somehow connected to you. Like, are they based on like personal experiences or feelings, or what are like some of the ideas or things that inspired them?
Yeah, it's a bit of a variety. Like some of them are. There's a song, the song Pink Fog, for example, that's literally a dream that I had when I was like a teenager. And I just remember writing down the narrative of the dream. And I've been trying to write a song with those lyrics like my entire life. And for it to finally be in a song is exciting for me. There are other songs where I woke up in the middle of the night, paranoid, in a cold sweat, and the lyrics came to me. Or something where I'm just recalling experience I had and turning it into lyrics. So it's from my experiences, yes, but also some of it is just like dreams or, just some things that have come to me in my mind too. And it spanned over the course of a long time that they were written. I think it's impossible to say what the future material will be like, but I think as experiences evolve, the lyrics would sort of evolve along with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they always do, kind of, right? This one thing leads to the other, and then you have a new dream, and it's never.
Yeah.
it's another source of of inspiration, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's like there's so many bands that I respect and that write about all these different things, but it's like I need to write about what I know about, something that like I feel confident that I can be the speaking of or singing of that is true and authentic, because otherwise it's, I don't know.
You also made a video already for this album, for the song Nylon Nights, and I remember reading an interview with you, and you said about this video, I wrote it down, that it has like a femme queer as fuck heavy metal vibe.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you think that shows, or how did you like collaborate with the director to like try to introduce this?
So yeah, it's interesting because it's me speaking with the director, who is great, Zeb Deans. He's done amazing work, and he's a cis guy. So it's like, okay, how do we get your greatness with the concept that we have and that I have? And it's like I can't really consult with anyone else about it. It has to come from me. There's nobody that is qualified for me to kind of bounce ideas off of. I felt very worried about representing certain things the right way, because I didn't want to, I don't know, I just didn't want to represent something poorly. So kind of just, you know, based a lot of the video is based off of the lyrics for Nylon Nights, which is, you know, based off of lyrics that I wrote. So it's like we're just doing a video based off of this song and these types of experiences. So that plus like the sort of the band being the band scenes where we're hanging out. It's like, well, let's just show the energy that we like to be around and that we're around, sort of thing.
Yeah.
In our very way, which may not be something that's been specifically seen quite that way before. So we were influenced by older, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s types of artists and what they did, but we wanted to very much make it for right now and for our, and particularly my life experiences, essentially. So it definitely was extremely stressful, not only because of production, but just because of really wanting to get the concept correct without doing something wrong about it. Not trying to get like, you know, like some shock value or anything, like trying to make something authentic and real and that kind of thing.
No, we are.
And without directly saying it too, like without like, you know, I think there's stuff that's just the vibe and the aura of it where we're not like saying this is what's happening here. It's just kind of like we just happen to be doing this sort of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Yeah, we definitely think heavy metal needs more femme queer as fuck heavy metal vibes. So we support that completely.
Yeah.
And in fact, connected with that, I wanted to ask, was there ever an eye-opening moment for you, like in the sense that you at some point realized that metal was not as welcoming or as free as it preaches? In the sense, I don't know, I think for me, for example, as a teenage girl, you see a very sexist album cover or something, and it doesn't feel right, and like you get this feeling that this thing you love, it's not actually meant for you, or kind of excludes you, and it's like confusing and also disappointing. Like, did you ever have this kind of eye-opening moment, or?
I mean, I think that's a common experience. I was lucky that when I was younger, I think the friends that I was around were people that didn't have that sort of negative mentality, or I don't know, like negative mentality towards like femininity or anything like that. But as time went on, and then you're sort of around other people and like being on tour around the world around all these other people, other bands, and you know, people have certain attitudes, and I always kind of just thought like, yeah, but we're all kind of still just like the ones who say fuck you to the rules of society, that kind of thing. We're like the rebels or whatever. Not, I mean, that's, I don't even like using that word because I don't like making it dramatic, but quite literally, we're just not following the rules putting out there for us. So I assume that we're all kind of on the same page, even though there's a lot of, you know, the way that women or femmes are treated in general in metal may not be ideal. I just always assumed it wasn't really gender-based. However, as a trans person, you know, I did experience bad outcomes from that, from certain reactions. But overall, like, I don't know. I think it's there for sure, and I think it's just like who's in charge kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Like I've come back into it like in a different way, and it's all been pretty cool. So I don't know. It's like I'm surprised when that is the case, even though it has been the case forever. Like when there's that negativity or like, you know, negative masculine energy, even though positive masculine energy is great, but like I'm always surprised when it actually it shows up. It's very surprising to me always, because it's like it seems so illogical. It doesn't make any sense. Like we're playing
yeah. And maybe it has to do also with the social network and the internet, because sometimes things happen online that then they don't translate into like real spaces, or the other way around. I don't know. Do you feel that the internet or the social networks have an impact in how all this is viewed? And
yeah, I think so in some ways. 1 second. Like, well, I think like people, like I don't spend a lot of time on the internet, and I never did. So like, I don't know. It's just, I always just kind of thought people that were spending a lot of time on the internet were kind of like not very social in real life kind of thing. That's changed obviously, but it's just kind of like, you know, say like, yeah, people probably get on these things because of the internet. Like I don't know, life, like versus, you know, just being out there or like playing music or around other people doing music or that kind of thing. But I've also been in a lot of situations where like there's plenty of misogyny off the internet as well too. So I don't think it's just from there. But it's kind of like loserish though if somebody's like really into that. Like it's just kind of like you just like kind of paint yourself as a loser, if that's kind of your mentality, shitty like that. And it's pretty obvious. I think most people think that.
Following with this topic, and just I think it was like a couple of years ago when you came out as a trans woman that you got kicked out of ABSU. I mean, I think it's an important topic and thing to bring out because I mean, it's another example of like transphobia, how it translates into like the people that you trusted decided to get rid of you instead of getting rid of a part of the crowd that they should better not have. So how did you experience that? It was like disappointment, rage, and how do you translate that into like your music career and
creativity?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, disappointment for sure. Very upset. I mean, they were my friends, so it was not good. And I very much wanted that to not have any effect on my music. Like, I didn't want to have music, and I would say with Sonja, nothing to do with Sonja has anything to do with that old band, or even that particular ordeal necessarily. Like, sure, me as a person is always going to be affected by that, but I'm not specifically writing about that. That was bad. I think it's more a mentality of they just didn't want to deal with it, kind of thing. Not that they were sitting there like, oh, we hate like trans people or women so much. Maybe there's a little bit of that, and I'm sure Nell probably, but I don't think that was the mentality. I think it was just like not having a friend's back kind of thing. So, which is interesting because I don't think, like, for me, I would have preferred to have just like gone under the radar and just continue playing music without making anything out of it. And now I got to make something out of it because that's my story now. So.
Yeah, hopefully it will be for the best, and you continue doing great music.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Now it's like,
yeah,
but still, like, there's never not going to be like scars because of that for me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of creativity, you also have another project that we both love, Prospero.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about Prospero before we wrapped up the interview. I think what you released is you released something already like 2 years ago. Are you working on something new, or there's any news in that sense?
yeah, I have one more song to write, and then we'll be doing a full length. We toured some parts of the U.S. We played some festivals. We'll be playing more. We're gonna be full on with that band too. So that's, be ready for something new with that for sure. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, how do you work like on two so different concepts? Like Sonja is like something more personal, Prospero is just like something like you have like some sort of an alter ego there. It's just like a very straightforward thing. How do you does it compensate each other or something like that in a way?
I mean, they're so different that it's easy. Like, you know, cross their extreme, so it's easy. It's like, I don't think many people can, like, well, that's not even the right way to say it. Like, creating extreme sounds is very second nature for me. That's not even, I put thought into it, but I don't need to. It's just how it just happens. Like Sonja, it's like, okay, we're creating something that doesn't already exist in our kind of world, in our own world. So with Prospero, and to do it, it's just kind of like, you know, it's pretty obvious what it is. So it's not like.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's fine. Okay, I thought we had to ask you. It's fine. So. Are we?
Yeah, I think I think this was what we had, and thank you for answering.
Yeah. And well, if you feel like adding something else or something we maybe forgot to say or whatever, like some final words.
Yeah, feel free.
You know, just keep rocking. I don't know, like, yeah. Thank you so much for the interview. Hope to see you on or something.
Okay.
I didn't hear the last part.
Yeah, we didn't hear the last part, the last thing you said.
But it's fine.
Hope to see y'all on tour.